This is the third in a series of video presentations by Master Horseman Pat Parelli, demonstrating a variety of natural horsemanship techniques to build a partnership with Wendelin, a 3-year-old feral mare found running with a feral herd in South Dallas, Texas. Parelli Foundation grants help address the growing needs of equine rescue organizations to find ways to better prepare rescued horses for successful adoptions. In this episode, Pat talks about recognizing the presence of serotonin and the presence of cortisol. Then he demonstrates using direction with support.
I used to work for a guy that used to average 10,000 head of horses for sale every year through his place. 10,000. A lot of them were Mustangs. A lot of them were horses that were people didn't want anymore, and there was a couple of reasons they didn't want them. You know, everybody loves a cute little baby, so they would, you know, in indiscriminate breeding, and people would breed a horse, and then it'd be 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden it was 4 or 5, and oh, we haven't ridden him yet. And then when they go to try to do it, the horse turns into a flying frog, because he flies around, jumps around, and makes the stirrups jump up in the air, and all of a sudden, no, we're going to take this horse to the auction. All right, so we had a test we used to do with all the horses. Can you take your arm and go down the horse's butt down to his hind legs? And I learned really quickly, let's try it with a stick first. Because I got my head kicked off a few times, okay? So that's what I'm doing here, is kind of that test, just to see if the horse is confident. You know, and here's a little saying for you. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I've said it a million times. He's wild and woolly. He's full of fleas. He's never been curried below the knees. What does that mean? That means as soon as we get down here, we're getting close to the tendons. And when we get down to those tendons, what happens is they're vulnerable. All right, and that's why horses that are skeptical don't want their legs picked up. Now we're going to get scientific, okay? Here we go. When a horse or a person gets nervous, anybody here ever get nervous? Our adrenaline goes up. When our adrenaline goes up, usually what happens is we get cortisol. And cortisol makes everything seem worse. Okay? Because it's a survival drug. When you're sitting here and you hear clunk, and who's ever had it? You wake up in the middle of the night, thud in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, all your senses, your adrenaline's up, your cortisol levels are up, so much so you can hear your own heartbeat. You can hear it so loud that you think that they can hear it. Who's ever had that before? That's what this horse is going through right now. So worse yet, if we add more fuel to that fire and run her around and do all this stuff that everybody thinks you're supposed to do. How many people have ever heard of round pen training? I'm going to tell you right now, it's ruined more horses than it's helped. Not that the technique is wrong, it's the technicians that don't understand the technique on what we're supposed to be able to do. So, the opposite of cortisol would be our serotonin, our dopamine, all the different kind of things that make the whole world feel like you just had the best tequila you ever had. The world is wonderful, right? So that's what we want to be able to do, is anytime we're around a horse, is we want them to enjoy our touch. We want them to get to where they can, every time they get around us, they say, oh boy, my human is here. Not, oh no, my human is here. So far I feel a lot, oh no, okay? But I'm here to share with you how quickly horses can learn if they aren't on cortisol. So human beings also live by rules. Horses live by laws of nature, okay? So what we're going to do is do as many things as we can with retreat and approach, and see how many things we can help her get more confident about. All right, we'll do some approach here in a little bit, but so now I'm going to do this. Watch how I do this. I'm going to put an ounce. This is for those in the world that don't realize yet that they're Fonarellis. Okay, and they think they're doing what I do, but they don't do what I do, because this is what Tom Dorrance taught me, is to direct and support. So now what I'm going to do here, watch. I'm going to put an ounce here and 4 ounces back there. Okay, watch how I do this. Most people do this. They got slack in the rope and they start banging on the horse's butt. Watch how I do this. Here, now there. Here, now there. Here, now there. Here, then now there. Here, then now there. So it's got to make sense. I'm giving her a preparatory command. It's why God invented blinkers on a car. So other people could know what you are about to do. In Australia, they call blinkers indicators. You guys know that? So it indicates what the heck you're about to do. All right? So we're giving her a little idea. We're asking her to go forward and out and around. Okay? All right, up and out and around, but never without some direction. Okay? We want her to move, we want her to go, we want her to move, we want her to go. Pretty soon, I want her to know, just go ahead and go when she that. Okay? There we go. What we want is some rhythm, some relaxation. Whenever we have movement, you guys understand the difference between motion and commotion? Okay, I see lots of commotion. Okay? Rhythm. There we go. Steady pressure, rhythmic pressure, steady pressure, rhythmic pressure. I'm a mediocre guitar player, and you put the guitar in one hand, you put steady rhythm down here. Same thing here, steady pressure here, then rhythm back here. Okay? Most people get it wrong. Steady rhythm. Good. Let's go the other way, steady. So now we're going to ask her here, not just to stand here and be touched. We're actually going to ask her to yield to pressure, to make sense of pressure. And as you see, that this is touching her on her hips, and she was actually moving into the pressure. Who saw it? Okay, this thing is so easy to break. If I touch her more than just a few ounces, the stick will break. Okay, so this little butterfly stick here, it's called a telescopic herding stick. Not hurt her, even if we. So at the same time, we're asking her to move. She's getting used to lots of different things, both sides. We're going to ask her here to yield to and from pressure. Okay.
In the next episode, Pat will discuss the difference between effort and results, and making the results the horse's idea instead of your idea. Here's an advanced look at the remaining episodes in this series.